Kala Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Bahashem, Raha, Quadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS Ruel, blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akim out there in truth, pushing this word in all sincerity and in honesty. With that being said, Shalom Israel, Barakatah. Today's lesson, the tensions increase. And here we have an article from AlJazeera.com that says people are tense in Israel. Fear amid likely Hezbollah, Tehran response as people brace for an attack. There is anxiety, but also resignation, Israel-based experts say. So the people are tense. There's anxiety due to what's happening over there right now in the Middle East. What's happening now in the Middle East has people on edge and in fear. The Israelis are now bracing for a response to the assassinations this week of the Hamas political chief and of the commander with the Lebanese armed group Hezbollah. And this is what the Israel-based analysts are telling Al Jazeera. And this is one of the reasons why we go to different news networks, because you cannot trust the news networks from the United States. They're all bought. And biblical prophecy has told you that Edom will live by the sword. But before that greater war is to take place, first cometh the CHIP of Revelation 13 and 16. And then cometh that greater war. But it shall be the small hats that shall draw them out. The least of the flock shall draw them out. Biblical prophecy told you that Edom will live by the sword. And it shall be the small hats that shall draw out the Americans to war. A full-scale attack on the Israeli state will draw out the Americans. And a full-scale attack on Iran will draw out the Russians. And that's what they're fearing. Before that greater war is to come, first cometh the CHIP of Revelation 13 and 16. Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Wayoshai that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. That's right. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. This speaks about the Amalekites in the land of Israel today. The small hats will be the ones to draw out America into World War III. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right. Because the land that the small hats now occupy shall be destroyed in the war, along with modern day Babylon the Great, which is America. Now, the land that the small hats now occupy, that shall be rebuilt. It shall rebuild to welcome in the true Israelites. But when it comes to modern day Babylon the Great, it shall never rebuild. It shall be left for an example on how now to live. The forbidden zone. It shall be left without any inhabitants, and it shall be desolate forever. Jeremiah 51:29 tells you the will of the Lord is to take out Babylon the Great. The land of Babylon shall tremble in sorrow, due to the vast missile strikes of the nations. But now, these smaller countries have nuclear capability. Let the weak say, I am strong. Joel 3:10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Let the weak say, I am strong. This is in reference to smaller countries such as North Korea and Iran possessing nuclear capability. And the Iranians are the Persians. But these smaller countries that now possess nuclear capability, they are also strong due to the support and backup of these other superpower nations such as Russia and China. And even though Esau or Edom weakens the nations through their sanctions, these smaller countries are no longer weak but strong in possessing nuclear weapons and unmanned vehicles. Iran itself possesses suicide drones that have diverse capabilities. Iran has at least 10 different models of suicide drones, which explode on impact. And these Iranian drones are also accurate as ballistic missiles and can fly at lower altitudes to evade radar. The weaker and smaller nations are now confident in saying, I am strong, due to the fact that they now possess nuclear capability and are backed up by greater superpowered nations. This is why the scripture of Joel 3:10 has said, let the weak say, I am strong. In other words, the little nation can no longer be bullied. The weaker nations have now leveled the playing field when it comes to the waster to destroy. Isaiah 54:16. Behold, which means to look, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. I have created the smith. In ancient times, a smith or a blacksmith created primitive weapons of war. In ancient times, blacksmiths created swords, shields, spears, and bodily armor, etc. But the modern day smith, on the other hand, is a nuclear scientist or a nuclear engineer that creates sophisticated weapons of propulsion and of mass destruction to deter and to defend against other nations, that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. That instrument is the gift of the missile, given unto Esau Edom for the coming war of Armageddon, mountain of the troops. The weaker nations have now leveled the playing field when it comes to the possession of nuclear weapons. And in order for righteousness to dwell upon earth, first cometh the CHIP of Revelation 13:16, and then cometh that destructive Third World War. That Third World War of destruction. Much tribulation is coming to this earth. Babylon the Great is experiencing mild to moderate birth pains as we speak. But the people of that nation have not really seen or witnessed the full force of that severe pain that's to come. But in that last severe birth pain, men themselves shall be in fear and in extreme pain. The time draws near. Even the mighty man shall cry bitterly. This destructive war to come shall be a different kind of war, fought with many destructive missiles of propulsion. With that being said, let's go over to the scripture of Isaiah 9:5. because a different kind of war is coming. Different from World War I and II. This shall be a destructive war of nuclear capability. Isaiah 9:5, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Ancient battles were fought mano a mano, hand-to-hand combat. Much blood was seen upon the battlefield. The battle of ancient warriors came with much confused noise. The confused noise of battle cries, as well as the rattling noise of battle formations were heard. The noise of weapons against shields was heard. The clanging of swords and of shields shattering was heard. The armor rattling and being pierced was heard, along with the many screams of the injured and of the dying. But in the greater war to come, it shall be fought with the burning and fuel of fire. This is in reference to the missiles sweeping throughout the lands and consuming everything in its fiery path of destruction. This is the fire's second death, according to the scriptures. Babylon the Great shall become the lake of fire. Modern day Babylon the Great. Many people are not prepared on those things to come. But the men of the Lord, Yahweh, Yahushai, on the other hand, prepare themselves spiritually through the scriptures. Isaiah 33:6 has said, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. The people in the world are in darkness. So-called Negroes, Latinos, Tainos, and Native American Indians in the world are in darkness. But the men of the Lord are not in darkness. With that being said, let's go over to 1 Thessalonians 5:4. 1 Thessalonians 5:4. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief. So in other words, do not get caught slipping, but continue on that righteous path. The scripture of Acts 14:22 has said, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. This is another scripture in the New Testament that gives testimony of that tribulation to come. Read it once again, Acts 14:22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. And with that, Kal Allah Malak Yahweh Wa Yahushai Bahashem Hakodash, and double honors to the elders of GMS Ruwell, blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akim out there in truth, pushing this word in all sincerity. With that being said, Shalom Israel, Barakatah.